I think we're live. Hi, welcome to 108 Healing Senses podcast. My name is Jennifer Taylor. I'm a visionary soul coach, and I am here today with the wonderful Jacob Ray from rayoflighthypnosis.com. Really wonderful to have you back on the show again. Thank you so much. It is always such a pleasure and such a flow when we chat. So great to have you on.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here with you again. And like you said, always a great conversation and happy to chat about what we're chatting about today. It's going to be a good convo.
Yeah. So I asked you today, like, what kind of conversation direction were you feeling for today? And I mean, it so perfectly interweaves past, present, future. But do you want to go a little bit more into the reasons, also maybe why you wanted to bring this conversation up today as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, in the work that I do, in the work that you do, Jennifer, I'm sure you see this as well. You see those patterns between clients, and the things that are coming up for people are usually not isolated. I mean, you can have the randoms here and there, but I definitely often see kind of waves of patterns of things that people are looking for help with, things that people are going through and dealing with. And especially in the work that I do with working closely with clients' higher selves through the hypnosis process and helping them to connect with that part of themselves. Hi, Corbin. Thanks for watching. And with that, it's always fun for me when we have synchronistic messages coming through different clients' higher selves, and they're saying the same thing, or they're saying iterations of the same thing. And so one of those messages that I've been receiving and hearing a lot lately, and this is spilled out into my normal day-to-day life as well, in the conversations I have with just normal people on the street and stuff like that, where this topic of what path are you choosing, and are you choosing love or are you choosing fear, has been coming up a lot. And I know this isn't necessarily like a new topic. It's certainly been something that's, I think, been coming up for a lot of us over the past handful of years even. But I think at this moment especially, there's a real push to choose, to decide which way are you going, what are you going to lean into, what are you going to embrace. And that dichotomy between love and fear is really, I think, very poignant right now. And so with that message coming up often, and then when we connected and we were like, oh, let's do another podcast, I was like, okay, I feel like this message needs to be spread even further. And I've been feeling called to really focus on past lives this month. It's October, which fits with the kind of spooky season vibes. I feel like with some of the witch lifetimes I've seen, some of the alien lifetimes I've seen, but definitely the past has been coming up a lot. And as we talked about, and we'll get further into, oftentimes our fears can have ties to past lives, or even just the past in this lifetime, whether that be childhood or young adulthood. So all in all, I just feel like it's a really important message to continue talking about, and spreading around, and helping people to think about this for themselves, because it really is a personal decision, and something that you have to hold yourself to in like a personal responsibility kind of way. So yeah, I'm excited to talk more about it.
Nice. I was just thinking, even from like a really basic, like, it does, even if you were everyone to just examine their own life, this life, and then return back to previous years, to spot where there has been dysfunctional patterns, or you could call it like karmic situations where it was really challenging. You could have lost everything, and it's important that even you can look within this life to see, are there things that I keep repeating that are hurting me, or choosing love over fear and breaking those repetitive loops of those self-destructive natures. That was just coming to me when you were talking about how us being able to remove the blockages, that in order you have to see it first, see it to heal it, and then release it.
Absolutely. And that's really, I think, an important point to talk about anytime you're talking about past lives, is like, check this lifetime first. Think about this lifetime, and do that work first, because it definitely can be easy to say, oh, well, it was a past life. And certainly those patterns in our current lifetime can be reflected in past lives. Oftentimes we go through those patterns multiple lifetimes to work through them, to deal with them. But it's definitely something where you want to look at this lifetime first, because this is the one you're living. It's the most important one. You're here. You're focused on this one at this time, um, and you don't want to bypass or skip over that healing and that work that you're doing. Otherwise, you'll just end up having to do it in the next lifetime. And
Mm.
I don't know about you guys, but I definitely like to be efficient. I mean, especially when we're talking about a lifetime, like it's not easy being here and being a human. So I figure do as much work as you can to work through your problems, so
Yeah,
that you don't have to come back and repeat them.
yeah, absolutely. And it's, I'm finding it interesting, researching history, and you start to see the patterns and the repetitive loops of certain 3-letter events that go on, starting with W and ending with R. And you start to see patterns. I'm talking at like a vaster scale, and this does transpose to what's happening right now in the world. That the inner ego that chooses not to follow a path of love, but they choose to follow a path of power, that comes from a place of fear and domination. And that's when things get really hairy and challenging and dysfunctional and destructive. And with everything going on in the world right now, it is really important to come back to yourself if you're getting outraged about things that are happening, which are absolutely worthy and deserving of that. Is the okay, let me come back to myself. Let me have a let me check out my baggage. What are the things in my life that I'm not dealing with, that I'm not being honest about, and candid about facts? And also again, can you make better choices to have a better path? And I just, it feels like it's a constant yo-yo if you were to look at the world stage and then return back to your own life and your family, and you see similarities and loops and familiar patterns of destructive natures. And I suppose that is how things continue going until you say, hold on a second, let's clear that, let's choose a path of love.
Hmm.
Really important what you brought to today, because it is a really important time that we all go inwards and stop going outwards quite so much.
Oh yeah, and I think sometimes it can be twisted or viewed as this like insensitive thing to tune out the outside world, or um to ignore the news, or ignore what's going on. And
Mm.
it's really not about uh just it's not about not having compassion or empathy for others. But I was talking with a client recently who they brought up the point of like our nervous system is not built or orchestrated to handle the amount of information and the amount of like wild, crazy things that are going on in the world. Like there's so much easy access to information these days, which is great in a lot of ways, right? This is a wonderful time to learn and to grow and to expand. But it also can be so much easier to tap into those things that are beyond our control in this incarnation. There are things that we do not have the physical power to change, but that doesn't mean that we can't do work to shift things. It's about, like you said, refocusing on your inner knowing, your inner voice, your what you have control of in your life. And what are you spreading? Are you spreading fear and angst, or are you spreading that love? Are you showing that to everyone that you can? Are you trying to spread the light in your immediate circle? Because that does have a ripple effect outwards. That does change things on an energetic level. But if you get caught up in all of the external drama, you're not going to have the energy or the focus to be able to do that inner work or to affect, you know, your immediate circle. And so that definitely, that message of like turning inward and listening to your own voice, your own knowing, your own intuition, your own discernment has been coming up a lot too, because I think it ties in and plays hand in hand with this choice point.
Yeah. Because if you're quick to react to fear, there's no space to reflect, and that reflection is where some of the discernment takes place. You have to observe and take in your surroundings, see what is relevant and what is not, and go through that kind of inner checklist with yourself. Does it feel right? You know, all of these discernment checklists. And I've been having the same feelings lately as well. It's like we really are in a time where discernment is becoming increasingly required for everyone to really start actively discerning what's happening around them. It really is a bit of a theatre show right now for so much of what's happening in the world. That at least from, I don't know how you are for you and your sanity, and also being able to just carry on, is I just bring my energy right back to me. I keep it close, you know, family, those that are closest to me, and build my energy from there. Because when I expend my energy too far, or I get swept up emotionally in other things that I don't have any hands on, other than me praying and wishing the best and highest for all concerned. There's not a lot that I can do other than just keep working on myself.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's I think that's such an important piece to say over and over again, because it's so easy to focus outward, especially when you do care about people and you see, and so much of the messaging is meant to pull on your heartstrings. It's meant to, you know, rope you into things based on your feelings and your emotions. And certainly, like, you should care about people. But one of the things that I know that I've learned through this work, and I see clients understanding at a different level during sessions, is this idea of personal responsibility in your lifetime. And it's not a I think it's one of those things that people can take and they can say, "Oh, you're victim blaming," when you say that everyone has a responsibility for the life that they're living. And it's certainly not meant to be insensitive towards those who are suffering or are going through really tough challenges and lessons in this lifetime, but understanding that we've all chosen to be here, and we've all chosen the experiences that we've chosen for a reason at a soul level. And it might not make sense from a conscious mind perspective, but I think that it does help us to understand, why is the world the way it is? Why are things the way that they are? Why do some people have such an easy ride of it and other people have just challenge after challenge after challenge? And it's certainly not a black and white thing. There's a lot of nuance going on with karma, with dharma, with lessons, with experience, with incarnation. But when you start to take that higher perspective, when you start to step into more of your higher self, looking down at these lifetimes and what's going on, and start to think about it from that perspective, I think it really helps to not waste your energy on worry and fear and anger and all of those lower vibratory energies. Like, there's so much more worth in putting your energy into spreading that love, and whether it be with those in your life, or if you're praying and sending that energy, that love, to those people who are suffering, because they can feel it. They have an awareness of that on some level, at the soul perspective.
Yeah.
Hi, Emma.
Thanks for joining live. It's always, and if you've got questions, please ask away.
Yeah.
So I mean, but for this being the year of the 9, and there is a lot of completions and a lot of wrapping up, of, I would say it feels like if there has been any previous karma or contracts, relationships, any old patterns that have been more on the side of destructive rather than productive seem to be coming up a lot this year, and at different points. Health issues for some, and just resurfacing of other things that are ready to be healed. So have you, within your clients and your experiences, have you seen a shift for any particular types of, I suppose, the sessions that are coming through? Is there another theme that you're finding similar?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that my most frequent clients are looking for that higher self connection. And certainly that's kind of my specialty. That's what I focus on. But I also offer future work. I offer the future vision coaching as well. And yet most people that I'm speaking with, that I'm working with, they're looking for that higher self connection because in a world again of so much distraction, so much external pressure, so much external opinions and ideas, and uh, well, you should do it this way. Oh, this worked for me, so you should try this. Like, there's everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's got their secret sauce, and yet so many people, and I see this with clients all the time, where they've tried everything else, and yet they're still feeling lost, or they're still feeling unsure, or you know they might get all of the validation from the external, and yet there's still some insecurity there. There's still some confusion, or and maybe it's with career. I've had clients where their their career might be successful, things might be going well on like on a surface level, but they're feeling unfulfilled, they're feeling unsure, they're like there's something more. They feel that urge, that push, and they're looking for that confirmation from their higher power, and that higher power is themselves. It's their higher self. This that part of them that is still connected with source, with the all, and it has access to that information both from this lifetime as well as all of the other ones. And the power that that connection, I suppose, like has is it's something else. And that's why I love this work so much. And
Mm,
when we've tried to follow everyone else's prescription, everyone else's idea of what's going to work for us, um, it's just so much more affirming and confirming, and just supportive to get that answer from yourself, from that part of you that knows what's best for you, not what's best for
mm,
everyone else. And the higher self has said over and over again to all my clients, like it's one of the most consistent messages we get come through is like, we want to help you. Let us help you. Like, all you have to do is be open to it and not ignore us. Like, we
mm,
are looking to assist you in stepping into your highest expression, your highest timeline. There's lots of ways we can talk about it. And I think that theme has been coming up over and over again. And it's really, a lot of these people are looking for confirmation about their healing gifts, or their psychic gifts, or their purpose in this lifetime.
mm,
They're looking for help and guidance on, okay, this world is wild and crazy, and I don't know what's happening next. Like, what do I do? And your higher self has those answers for you. They can help you along that path. And it's not always about giving you the like exact answer, because sometimes we're here to live the experience, we're here to go through things. But what they always do is offer support, offer encouragement, offer what they can as far as information goes. And seeing that transformation in the confidence is huge. Um, and that connection, fostering that connection, helps people to step out of the fear frequency, to step out of that, because uncertainty and all of that stems from fear too. You're fearful of what could happen, or what could go wrong, or
mm,
making the wrong step. And so I really think it's such a important, um, it's an important pattern that I've definitely been seeing. And I'd be curious how things are going for you and your clients as well.
Yeah, I think clarity is certainly clarity in the discernment part and the just clarification. I do genuinely feel with such a busy world right now, it can be challenging to hear and get real clear insight and messaging from your higher self unless you create that space, or you have the situation where you can work with someone like me or Jacob in order to access that wisdom and insight that is already within you. You have it, but sometimes it's just really potent to have that. Right, this is dedicated time for higher self alignment and
Hmm.
getting your memos to take the next best steps, so you can save a load of time, resources. It's so many listed. It's almost like a cheat code. It is almost like a cheat code, but in the best possible way.
Yep.
Which I do truly feel has been a gift in order to help. I mean, you have your QHHT training as well as your hypnosis training, and we've worked with Anjesh doing the future vision coaching and training as well. So it's such a powerful and profound tool in order to access that and to strengthen that psychic muscle that we all have. We are all highly tuned, but I do feel like at this time there have been contracts that have been coming up to complete, old self-worth programs, things like that, things that may have kept clients stuck in the past. It's just been coming up, even things like being able to balance their emotions and rage, or slipping back into kind of more depression, depressed states, and then being able to kind of lift yourself back up again. So it definitely feels like it's been a kind of a roller coaster to try and take it from these big sine waves into just these, okay, if I'm gonna have to try and have like the most balanced middle experience for clients and also for myself, it's like, oh, that's interesting, I thought I had dealt with that, but it's come up again. I kind of do, an arm of compassion on whatever the thing is, and that certainly has been a releasing of any pain from the past that may still be attached, especially if memories start popping up. That's or you're getting flashbacks to things in the past, or you're like, oh whoa, I was here like X amount of years ago. That's really interesting. I'm in basically the same job, in the same the same path, the same groove. So, but what's different now, and how do I want to turn up now, which I would have preferred to have done in the past? And this is the time for it, and to really dig deep into what does your soul really need right now, not what it thinks, what it wants. What do you need right now? And that self-responsibility and honesty is I think is majorly critical for this. What path do you take? Is it the loving path, or are you going to continue going down a fearful path, which makes you say no to opportunities? It makes you have distorted thoughts about things, people. You're projecting, you get angry externally at things when you're like, hang on, I can manage my energy, I can manage my emotions. I don't need to emotionally vomit over everyone and everything, because it just keeps you stuck in that same groove. You're just doing the same thing time and time again. So yeah, that's what's been coming up my side of the pond.
Yeah.
Of the
Oh,
Atlantic.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, one of the cool things about this work. And when you start to pay attention to what's going on around you and with people, and not just the surface level or the narrative, it's paying attention to what's actually going on. And we're privileged in the work that we do to be able to work with people in this way and to help people in this way. But I'm sure if you talk to the people around you, I mean, even people who are not on a spiritual path or who are not, focused on the same things that I'm focused on, they are still dealing with and working with the same energies, just at a different
Yeah.
level and in a different way. And, I I stumbled upon this video of this wonderful guy. He's got great energy on Instagram, and he was saying this. He was saying over and over, like, everyone is awakening. That's the mindset we have to have. Everyone is awakening in their own way, in their own time. Like, we're all moving towards that. And I think it's really been on my mind, because when we start to either cast blame or to pass judgment on people, or to put people in boxes based on how we think they are, or how we think, how awake we think they are, or how aware they are, or how spiritual they are, that's usually us projecting out onto them our own insecurities, or our own uncertainties. And I've definitely been surprised in conversations with people who I wouldn't have expected to have the conversation with, where we get onto something spiritual, or we like find common ground, and I might have a slightly different perspective, they have a different perspective, but we're able to come together and understand each other, because we're all, as cliched as it is, we are all one. And so we're all experiencing things in our own way, but together as one. And so I think remembering that, and starting to not only spread the love, but also like have compassion for others, have compassion for ourselves. Like, we're all trying our best. We're all doing the best we can to navigate this world. And I think the more that we can be self-aware, it helps us to have more grace for others too, because we know where we're at and we know what we're dealing with. And yeah, I don't really know where that tangent came from, but there you go.
No, that the kindness and compassion truly are. I mean, they can look different. They can also look like healthy boundaries and tough love, as much as it is being like, I see where you're coming from. Again and again, there's a choice point for the other person. Are they seeking help, but they're struggling? Are they seeking help? Are they reaching out to be like, I'm like this, or are they going through it, but they're just rejecting that there's anything wrong with them, and the rest of the world or the situation are the ones to blame for why their life is the way it is. And yeah, again, that the kindness and compassion will take you to a point, but until you're able to really step into the self-responsibility part for yourself as much as for everyone else, life will continue looping, whatever the frequency that you're in. And when I say frequency, it's like, the people that you're hanging out with, the job that you've got, the words that you say to yourself, the words that you speak, what are you bringing into the world? All of these things add up to an important aspect that you have to just be really real because and honest with yourself. Otherwise the carnage will only repeat until you're like, no more carnage. All right, I'm done with the drama. I'm out of here. I want to go create. I want to go do some cool stuff. So but compassion is and another part of the being compassionate towards others is that you will receive peace in the process, because you realize you don't take things personally, because people just they're doing life on their terms, at their pace, in their own way. And it's up to each and every single one of us to navigate with the most grace and ease. And if we're seeing people that are struggling, it's up to each and every single one of us to see if we want to get involved or not, or if it's even in that place or space. But it's I think it's a very powerful time right now. If we just started a series of super full moons, is that correct?
If only Corbin was still in the chat. He's the astrologer of us, so he would know. Emma, maybe you know, and let us know in the chat if supermoons are happening. I mean, I know we just had the eclipse, and this Aries full moon that we just had definitely was continuing those energies. And it really is. I mean, eclipses are very much that moment of release, of transformation, of shaking off the old and stepping into the new. And so all of this directly ties into what we're talking about and these themes that are coming up. And that's part of why I chose to do past life focus for this month. And I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning, but for anyone watching, I am doing 10% off my past life services. So you can check out my website for all of that. But I think that it really is a moment where these things are coming up for us to clear, for us to process, understand, integrate, and release. And I love how you bring up the personal responsibility, because I think really like fear oftentimes can stem from, on some level, this idea of feeling out of control of the big scary world out there, and like, oh my gosh, the horrible things people are doing and the horrible stuff that's happening. And it comes from this place of like feeling out of control, feeling like you don't have agency, or like things are just happening to you. And it really is, as a lot of life is, your perspective, and how do you shift that. And it's not easy to do at all. And that's part of why I think hypnosis is so powerful, because it helps you to it helps facilitate those shifts, and helps you to, on so many levels, not just the conscious mind, on so many levels, to shift and change, and shake off that old, step into the new. And I think when you're finding yourself in that fear loop, and you're finding yourself in more of that like blaming others, or blaming situations, or blaming the external, it really is that moment to say, okay, but what can I control? And maybe it's literally just like taking 2 minutes to listen to your favorite song, so that you can shift into a happy place for just that moment. Or maybe it's like, okay, I'm gonna make my favorite dinner tonight and have that comfort food, and like take care of myself that way. Like it doesn't immediately need to be like reprimanding yourself, or saying, oh, here I am again, like fearful. Like, no, love yourself, show yourself compassion, hold yourself to doing something, though, because it's so easy, and I'm totally guilty of this. You can get stuck in mental loops where you're just like going around and around, and you're spiraling, and you're starting to fall into anxiety or depression, or like these physical bodily reactions to what's going on in the mental. And that's when you need to step out of that. You need to break out of that. And that's where I think grounding, going out in nature, taking a bath, having your favorite food, or something like that. These are all different ways that you can sort of reverse engineer those emotions and those feelings, by going straight to the physical, and then helping it kind of work backwards. So
that's helped me a lot as well. When you're too much in your head, get into your body, get out of your head. And I was thinking about, it's like if you're a ship without a sail. So your body is the ship, you're on the waters, but you do need to have a direction to go in. And then you can use your air, your mind, to take you in the direction that you need to get to, but not to let it become a storm in your head, and you're not going anywhere fast. And I see it. It's so interesting. I feel like the labels of ADHD and being on like neurodivergent on the spectrum are becoming prolific. Like it seems like everyone is, and it's interesting for me because I'm realizing that I have those, and the dyslexia part as well. So I have a really interesting view on the world, and I can see patterns, and I'm good at problem solving. But then there's other times when just like you said, if you get too stuck in your head, and then it's like you almost get into like a freeze mode with your body. I suppose that's partly what depression is, when you have those periods of it, or just feeling really drained and just no energy to take action. And in those points, that's when it's like, right, we need to change it up. Like whatever you're doing now, you need to, so if you've been stuck indoors in your room or in one room a lot of the time during the week, it's really important to change your surroundings. Go for a walk outside, you know, walk around the block if you need to. Go find some natural water or a tree, and you know, whatever the things that we can individually do to help regulate our nervous systems wherever we live at whatever time of the year, like whatever's comfortable or, you know, safe and effective for you to apply for yourself. You're like, okay, I need to go stretch my legs. I've been working too long on my computer. I feel like I've got square eyes. That's me most of the time. And I know I just need to go for a stroll, or even just work for a certain time till a certain time, and then just say, that's done now. I'm done for the day. I can't do any more. I don't want to do any more. And then you get into the other ways of getting into your body. I love a bath. Love a bath. It's my
I
like
know.
go-to. Beautiful. Yeah, a little bit of salt or apple cider vinegar, really, really, really purifying and detoxing for the body as well, as well as the kind of mental relaxation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know
Sure.
Emma's saying outdoor spa, please, right? I love that.
Oh yeah.
I've always dreamed of going to like the natural hot springs somewhere, you know, like I've never been to any place like that. And I feel like it would just be magical and I would love to. So that's on my bucket list. And I know that
Nice.
they have like outdoor spas like that in places. So
Brilliant. Is that your next year commitment for an adventure to the springs?
I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, we're at a point where we've been kind of on a moving mission, a relocation mission for a moment here, and it's looking like next year is probably when it's actually going to happen. And so might be focused on that and then settling into wherever we are, but or wherever we end up. But definitely in the near future, I would love to do that because yeah, nature is so special to me, and for me, like there's just very little that compares to getting out in nature, being in like a natural water place as well, whether it be just my feet in the river or like in a lake or oh, I mean, I miss the ocean so much. I'm in Minnesota now, and the most landlocked, I mean, I guess not most landlocked because we have the Great Lakes, but they're not really the same as the ocean and the salt water and stuff. So miss the ocean. I'll get back there someday.
Sorry. I was going to ask, are you hoping to move closer to the ocean, or is that non-disclosure? just so yeah, because they haven't decided.
No, we're still a little bit up in the air. You know, it's been one of those things where you make a plan, you think it's sure, you like, I mean, I even do, you know, I've done feature progression to check out where I'll be living, what that house is like, what that place is like, and
Yes.
I've explored a few timelines, and I feel like there are pieces of each of them that will end up in that like eventual place, but it's also been spread out over the past like year and a half, and I know that for myself, I've gone through such huge changes and shifts in my life. Like those timelines aren't like I've disconnected
Same.
from those. We're on to another
Yeah.
direction, and
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most exciting things about the future work is that it's not prescriptive. It's not like, oh, this is your future and it's locked in. It's like, no, here are some opportunities. Here are some possibilities. Like, dream big.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? What calls to you? Um, and you know, we're talking a lot about the past. I mean, certainly you can release fear and work through fear by going to the future too. I mean, I've had so many clients who have been fearful or unsure or just like in that place of uncertainty, and when you get out of the present moment, you get out of your present circumstances, you shift your consciousness ahead to the future. It's so powerful to be able to see and to feel what that's like, what that future is like. seeing how you feel when you're confident, or when you've made that choice or that decision, or taken that path or that opportunity that you're scared about, and how does it feel on the other side, like that feeling of
Mm.
accomplishment, that feeling of um, pride in the work that you've done, and in the hard work you've done. Like, tapping into that is so powerful to help you to shift out of that fear frequency in the present moment. So, like, I don't know, I have a lot of clients who, I guess, are fearful both ways, of fearful of seeing the future and fearful of the past. And especially for those who are, unsure about digging into the trauma of the past, or maybe they're just not feeling called to past life work. Don't worry,
Mm.
we can help you by going to the future, and it's totally different energy. It's a different feel than going to the past. And
Yeah.
um, that's one of the things that I love about this work, is how adaptable it is, and how many different ways that we can help people um, address similar problems.
Yeah. Agreed. I've had it in the past where I've had clients that weren't ready to peek into their future because they still weren't ready to acknowledge the present nor the past. And but if I'm saying this because it's that there's an opportunity, even if you haven't resolved your present and past, by going to your future you connect with this pure higher essence of yourself that has done it all, past, present, future. And that version of you holds it, just it feels like true pure love, this source frequency that you kind of tapping into. I suppose a bit like the Matrix, when it's almost like a reverse Matrix.
Right.
So instead of being plugged in with machines, you're being re-plugged in back into source. That's what it feels like.
Hmm.
That's what it feels like for me. And I'm sure it has felt like that for other people as well, because I regularly get, that made me feel so peaceful. There's all this beautiful codes of peace frequencies that can be, even I do it when I'm in sessions, even facilitating it, and I feel the wave of peace and bliss that flows through me. And it is really important to do it regularly and connect to that energy regularly, and to make that your standard. This is my standard energy that I want to hold within myself, and live my life by, because that's when the opportunities appear. um you know Karmic or challenging relationships or situations will end up dissolving, and the right people will enter your life. And it is having that trust and having that faith and courage to do that, to really be honest with yourself and be open and ready to release whatever is ready to be released, and to welcome the highest good for you and for all concerned. So yeah, that was what came through just then.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a really important point to bring up as well. Because again, I've had clients who are fearful, or they're unsure about connecting with either their higher self or their future self. And there's this worry, this fear of, like, well, how do I know that I'm connecting to that part of me? Or how do I know that it's actually them, and not someone else, like, trying to hoodwink me? And I say
Mm.
to that, like, the feeling, you will feel that it's your higher self. You will feel that connection. It's a feeling of familiarity. It's a feeling of love. When you're working on the non-physical level, I find that it's more challenging to be deceived. Of course, like, there can be deception, but, like, when you set your intention, when you ask in sincerity to connect with that part of you, and then you trust and you allow that connection, um, you're not going to have some, like, operative come in and take over. Like, it's
Mm.
remembering your own power, remembering your own spirit, because we're not some, like, puny human, being. Like, we are powerful spiritual beings. And when we remember that, uh gosh, I don't know if you can hear that outside, some big old machine going on.
No.
um but yeah, this
All good.
got very distracted by that. but yeah, that I think that that discernment piece too is really important, because again, like, whether it's from your higher self, or it's from us, or it's from some other, content creator or voice out there, like, where regardless of where the information comes from, use your own discernment with that information and with that guidance. Like, don't take it verbatim and just, do it out of responsibility, or like, um maybe not responsibility, but like, we can sometimes fall into that people pleasing, like, oh well, I got to
Mm,
do this. It's like, no, like, if it resonates for you, awesome. But I always say this with the information that comes through in sessions, especially those that I share on my YouTube. Like, don't ever take this as like the rule of law, or like the absolute truth. Like, weigh it against your own thoughts and your own ideas, and what feels true for you, um, because that's what's most important, not that you agree with me. you know
yeah, yeah, it's really important, and it's easy to get in. And I've had this path myself, and I had to take a longer path to learn the lesson about seeking information to find out more about myself, find out more about the world. And in points when I would say, in more of a vulnerable state, and then you start to give your power away to people that you feel have more knowledge or information than you. Ultimately, if you really get down to it, is it doesn't matter what information you have or have not. It's, where do you hold yourself in your self-esteem? Because when you start to give your power away, that's when things start to get more tricky, because you might be overlooking red flags and warnings. Because, I mean, to be honest, I don't know what your experiences have been like, Jake, but in this field, and it is really important for everyone listening, even on this podcast, I'm not expecting everyone to agree with what I'm saying at all. And it is up to each and every single one of us to listen with our heart, listen with our body, and see what resonates as true. And I get this all the time. I'll listen to something and I'm like, they're lying. They're lying. They're not telling the truth. It doesn't feel right. And I'm going through checks of discernment as well. And it is important that we listen to our bodies and our first gut instinct, because people will always reveal themselves, especially when you first meet them, and you'll get a good idea of what they are like. And there may be times, if they are wounded but they're hiding their wounds, it will slip out every now and again. And that could be through, like, I suppose, more explosive, non-emotionally regulated means. But that's more like if you're working one-to-one, or in a group with someone. But yeah, I suppose that's my tip of awareness for anyone learning anything from anyone, is really just, tune in. Where is it coming from?
Mhm.
And are you still holding your power at the end of that conversation, whatever that thing is? Who is holding the power right now? Are you still holding it? And if you're not, if you're in a fear state, that means you're not holding your power.
100%.
And yeah, so
Oh yeah, I wholeheartedly agree, and I think that that's a lesson that so many of us are learning,
mm,
is that, we have so much programming and so much um, conditioning in our society, in our education system. And that's really, like, regardless of where you live in the world. I mean, sure, there's exceptions
mm,
out there, but by and large, we are taught to listen to the expert, listen to your teacher, listen to your parent. Like, no back talk. You have to, you have to fall in line. Like, we're very much taught this top down power structure, this,
mm,
oh well, they've been around longer than I am, so they must know better. And it's such a it's such a such a lie. Like, especially when we take a step back and we look at lifetimes of learning and knowledge, and the at its basic core, like our subconscious, our higher self, like it's a supercomputer. It has all of the
Mm,
information from all of our lifetimes, and because it's connected to source, we have access to information beyond that. And you can call it the Akashic records, you can call it, the all, you can say whatever name you want for it. But especially when you look at it from that perspective, it's like, sure, you have 20 more physical years on me, sure, but like I've got just as many lifetimes as you. And
oh yeah.
it's one of those things where it's so easy to fall into that power dynamic, that giving our power away to someone else because of their experience, because of their knowledge. And certainly doesn't mean like don't listen to anyone, or like don't ever
Mm,
research or like take in information. But it really is re-emphasizing that point of like discernment, of saying, okay, how do I feel after I hear that information? How do I
mm,
feel after I hear that message? And certainly, again, like having discernment, whether it's like a trigger, like is it triggering you to call you to reflect on something internally, or maybe an opinion, or a thought process that you have that you're being called to reckon with. Or I mean, I definitely have had those moments where I'm listening to something and I'm just like, I feel gross after this. I feel icky. I
mm,
feel like I feel down and dark and like not hopeful. Like, and that's
yeah,
not a good feeling to be left with, when it's, especially when it's like information that's meant to like help you. Like, no,
yeah.
that's not helping me. That's information that I don't need. It is out of resonance with me, and it's pulling me down. And
Mm,
it's not about putting your head in the sand and not listening ever to anything. I mean, I definitely think there's value in listening to people's opinions that you don't agree with. Like it's good um to not get stuck in a bubble of of your own thoughts and all that. But it is choosing when and how you allow that information in, and to what extent.
mm,
And like you
yeah.
said, are you holding the power at the end of that conversation, or at the end of that video, or at the end of that lecture? Like, are you holding your power, or did you give it to that person, and are you in a state of fear? And it's so well said.
Mm. Or and the on the opposite side of things are is, do you feel inspired to take positive action in your life?
Hmm.
That's a really great discernment one. It was like, yeah, I want to be the best version of myself. I really want to take my life, my happiness, my health, my success, my relationships to the next level. I want that. I want that dream life, and I know that I can achieve it by knocking off and removing certain aspects, and that includes things like the news, you know, dip in every now and again if you feel to, or if you're in a space where you're feeling very sensitive, it's like just give it a rest. It's not just focus, just learn to direct your energy and your focus and your intention and your emotions for good, rather than constantly kind of just getting really pissy and annoyed about things, and it's just you're just leeching your energy, and nothing's been created other than a very different path. So again, yeah, we all have that opportunity to to take a graceful road, to take a creative road, to be solution focused, to not get caught up in other people's dramas, especially when they're just doing the same old loop time and time again. I mean, if I don't know if how you are in the world, Jake, with looking at patterns. Like I said before, I just see these loops and these patterns repeating. Countries in the same, in similar. They're just looping trauma. So it's, at some point or another, every single one of us needs to say, enough is enough. I choose love over fear every single day, in every single moment. And if fear comes up, I will speak to it and ask why that information is coming to me right now. Is it a trauma that wants to be healed? It wants to be seen and resolved and released. Um, and so there is much beauty also in these triggers that we have within ourselves, not to like, oh, that bad thing's coming up, I'm going to ignore it. No, it's coming up for a reason, but also have the steps and the processes or the facilitation to be able to do the work, to remove the blockages from your past, whatever, if it's this lifetime or other lifetimes, if you're open to that. But ultimately it's the same thread. There's still the same pain and thread that goes through lifetimes that travel into this one. So the things that you resolve in this one will also help to resolve things in your past lifetime. So it's all this perpetual circle that we all get to experience and call life. And I mean, it is, if you're in the kind of the thrill of a play, we are in the heart of it right now. I mean,
Oh yeah,
if you
full
want
drama.
to, yeah, I mean, keep a diary and publish that in a few years' time, because it's literally is just wild. So, yeah.
No, I love what you're bringing up, because I think it's an easy trap to fall into, of ignoring it rather than addressing it. And it's not, when we say choosing fear or love, it's not about ignoring the fear when it comes up. It's about acknowledging it and asking yourself, why is this coming up? What is this triggering for me? What is this calling me to do, to address? And because we know, I mean, when you ignore things, when you ignore emotions, when you ignore these traumas, it gets buried in the body, and then it comes out as physical illness, as problems with your health, or with mental health too. I mean, we talk about depression and anxiety. I mean, these are not things that have just come out of nowhere. Like there's 100 sources of it. But like there is a source. It's not just some random thing that's happening to you. Nothing's random in this life. And when you start to really understand and embrace that, it's so freeing, because it reminds you that you do have the power to change things, and you certainly are powerful in and of yourself. But these are also moments where you can ask for help. You can come to Jennifer, you can come to me, you can find your local Reiki practitioner, or your or your chiropractor, or like whoever it is that you trust and you feel called to seek that support from, seek that help from. Ask for it, because we're not meant to do this all alone. At least not most of us. I'm sure there's someone out there who is, but most of us are meant to be in community, to have that support from each other. And especially in tough moments, when you are struggling with these things, there's no need to struggle alone. And if you don't have the financial means, or you don't have the time, or whatever it is, to seek that from someone else in human form, at the very least seek that from your higher self, from that part of you that wants to support you, because, or your guides, or however you want to conceptualize it. Like, you've got so much support out there, and you don't need to like fight the fight alone. There's no gold star for doing that. Like, you'll get a gold star regardless.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And you will get a gold star regardless. Like, the main thing is just keep showing up. Just don't give up on yourself, and don't give up on love. Like, make and however love might look to you, whether it's nourishing food, the self-care things, as much as it's the things that you can bring into your life that make it better, not only for you but those around you. It could be your family, your partner, your community, your district, your region, your country. It doesn't really matter how big you go, but as long as you've got something aligned with your heart in a direction that it will benefit more than just yourself, and it brings a whole new frequency through everyone. That's what uplifts everyone. So no one gets left behind at that point. We can all go together, and it really just takes is every single one of us, or at least those that are willing and committed to devote themselves to what love is to them, and take those actions, and life will always bring you miracles and opportunities and doors that you weren't expecting, but come along out of nowhere, and your deepest wants and desires start to manifest as opportunities as well. And if I live it, I breathe it, I feel it in me, and I keep that's my attunement. That's the compass that I'm aligned with, and it only gets better and stronger and more loving. And it's the small things that add up to the big things in life.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're if you feel like the one of the big things that I've been trying to refocus on, and especially in the work that I do where I am slipping around in time and I'm going to the past, I'm going to the future, like remembering the importance of now, remembering the importance of the present moment, and that the future is simply what you're building now. Like the choices you make, the actions you take, the little bits that you do. And it can be hard in, when we talk about like the social programming and the conditioning of like instant gratification and the ways that um we've been like groomed for this like need for instant results. And it's not that instant results can't happen or that miracles can't happen in that way. I mean, I see that in sessions with the ways that people can drop things in an instant.
Yeah.
But there also is something to be said about taking the small measured steps to build something in the physical, because we are physical beings right now. We're a part of this 3D physical world. And as wonderful as it is to build things energetically and to focus on things from that energetic perspective, you still need to take that action and take those steps to build it in the physical. And even if you're in the darkest, most horrible moment of your life, like there is hope. Like you can shift things, you can change things. And I wholeheartedly believe that, because Lord, I've gone through some tough moments, and then I found myself on the other side of it. And whether that was through support from friends and family, whether that was the support from my higher self and my guides, like um again, like we aren't doing this alone. We've got so much support and love from all different sides and angles and concepts. It's really beautiful. Um and if you're struggling to see that, if you're struggling to feel that, that's where a session with either of us can really help you to tap into that and to understand that support, um and help you to find that hope, find that release, find that courage to move towards that future, whatever it might be. Um, and I definitely encourage you to take advantage of that, because we're in a really exciting time, and yet for a lot of people it's also a terrifying time. And which you focus on is going to be your reality. If you focus on the terrifying, yeah, it's going to be terrifying. If you focus on the excitement, it's going to be exciting. And it's up to you. It's your choice.
When you were speaking, I was getting not only ask and you shall receive, but command and you shall receive. And it is that you have to take action. And I feel like this is this is another conversation, but the manifestation requires you tuning into the thing that you want and then releasing it, but also you're creating an energy about it that you're positioning yourself to become that person. It's not just going to happen. You have to still take action. That's part of the magic of the creation. And yes, asking you shall receive. I have had many moments when I deeply reached my heart out to source and ask for help, ask for love, and I felt it like wings around me, like a hug. Obviously it's different for everyone, but in those moments it is, if you have no one, just ask for source, ask for love to come in, and you will find relief and a way out. Yeah. Lovely. Well, it's been a lovely chat, Jake. Do you have any final wrap up words for the audience to take away during these heated times? on the 8th
Just
of October 2025.
oh my gosh, yeah. Just that reminder of return back to yourself. Like, you, as much as the message might be pushed and you might have this external pressure or sense of responsibility to like be tuned in or to be aware of what's going on, or that like you're a bad person because you don't watch the news, I'm here to tell you that that is not your responsibility. You are responsible for yourself. You're responsible for um, those responsibilities in your life, in your immediate sphere. And certainly the power of prayer, the power of intentional thought and energy sending, like that's great and wonderful, and do that if you can, if you have the capacity. But i I know for myself, like I my astrology is very very poignant in this sense, because I'm a Libra rising, and what people think of me, how people perceive me, is something that I am concerned about at times. And it's a lesson that I'm learning and I'm working through. But um, it's been really freeing for me to be able to say, no, like I need this boundary. I need to take care of myself, because if I'm in this constant state of panic and worry and like falling apart, like not only is that not helping the problems out in the world, but it's destroying my life and making me fall apart. And so I guess just long-winded way to say, like, come back to yourself, like tune back into you. And you know, meditation is great, but if meditation doesn't work for you, try breath work. It's a more active way of getting into that meditative state, or go for a walk in nature like we've been talking about. Like, that is a wonderful way to be meditative. And if you don't want to walk, go for a drive. Go for a nice fall drive if you're, you know, if you got the leaves turning around you. Like, um there are so many different ways that we can work with this, um to come back to self, to come back to our own knowing, our own wisdom, um, our own voice. Uh, and that just helps. It helps the collective. It helps everyone else, because we are projecting our own love energy, and we're here in our being. We're in we're where we're supposed to be, rather than spreading our energy so thin. That's what I'll
Well,
say.
well said. Well said. Yeah.
Oh, and I will remind people, I'm doing 10% off for the month of October on my past life services. So check out my website, rayoflighthypnosis.com, for those options. And I encourage you, if you're feeling that call, if you've had patterns shown to you, and you've had these moments of frustration or anger at someone or something going on in your life, you can do something about it. And either of us are would love to help you with that.
Absolutely. Yes. And people, we will all find our guide along the way, or our guides. We will have many. So
Mhm.
yeah, you use your heart's wisdom with whomever you resonate with. And I really rate Jacob. So yeah, definitely go check him out. And yeah, for me, I've got a 3-part workshop I recorded on Lionsgate this year, so it still holds that potent energy. So that is in a playback form that people can use whenever they need, including things like portals or birthdays, or important key dates, or just times that they don't feel that they can have a one-to-one session, but they want to have the experience on a replay. So you can get that through my Ko-fi, kofi.com/108 healing senses, and it's in the shop there. And there's more things coming up as per usual. I'm kind of reshifting things my end as well. It's been a bit busy lately, but things are starting to take a more graceful route. So I'm looking forward to delivering some more different ways and opportunities to work with me. But you can do one-to-one with me, doing past, present, future work, personal and business, a clarification, and refining your ideas for the future. So it's an exciting time, just in general, and it would obviously be a pleasure if you join me continuously on this channel, on the podcast, or however else you'd like to work together. Is great. I'm happy either way. if this content is you're benefiting from it and you've taken something away from it, drop a little comment down in the box, and be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps with the algorithm and getting this information to more people. So thank you so much, Jacob. It's been such a pleasure.
Likewise.
And
I almost forgot. I do have a past life workshop that's coming up on October 25th as well. So that's on my website, if you look at my bookings page. But I almost forgot to mention that. So yeah, come do the workshop if you're not ready for a one-on-one.
Lovely. And there'll be links in the description of this video as well if you want to work with either of us. So perfect. I'm really excited to see what next year holds, as well as a new key united frequency. So we're kind of just we're clearing up right now, and it's just hang in there. hang in there and be kind to yourselves. So thank you so much. Much love and blessings to you all, and we'll be in contact soon. Thanks for that.
Bye everyone. Thanks, Jennifer.
Bye. Thanks, Jacob.